This is Jason Verney's podcast. I am Jason Verney. I'm actually recording this from Bangkok. To be more specific, I'm recording it from an area of Bangkok, or the outskirts, known as Krabang. And yes, that is traffic you can hear. I'm taking a stroll in a sort of middle of nowhere, you could say, but it's got its own community, I suppose, and it's a very Thai community, which is good. That said, the place I'm staying at is actually with a friend, and they live in I guess it's a mini resort, which perhaps is for the more well-off Thai people. But it's nice and secluded from what you might say the pollution of the city. Pollution of any city. I'm not putting Bangkok down by saying that. But yeah, it does. The city of Bangkok can be pretty intense. And not just pollution in the air, which is everywhere these days, but pollution of noise pollution, light pollution. So yeah, I'm recording this. I want to apologise first. I've just landed in Bangkok, so I've landed in Krabang, if you like. Obviously I came from the airport to this area, but the thing is, Krabang, it might not be a very well known tourist sort of area, which is probably, you could say, thankfully, but it's probably the next major stop. If you were taking the BTS or the MRT, these are the rail systems in Bangkok. There's 2 or 3 different ones that will connect up, really, and this would be the first stop after the airport. So that was actually going to be my choice of how I was going to get to this place today. I was going to jump on the train, the airport rail thingy, but yeah, I got a taxi. My friend offered to pick me up on the bike, but anyway, I got the taxi, and as before, when I last came to this area, I believe it was a year and a half ago. I was actually in Thailand 6 months ago, roughly, but a year and a half ago I came to this area. I didn't get a chance last year, with various things going on, both of us being busy. But yeah, so it's kind of the first stop on, if you were taking that rail network, but rail tracks. As I say, I might be a bit jet lagged. I did a 12-hour flight with EVA Air. Great company. I haven't used them for maybe at least 7 years, but they fly to Bangkok direct, because their route is actually from, well, the whole route is actually London to Taiwan, to Taipei. But to Bangkok is the first stop if you were doing that route, first and only stop before. So yeah, I'm a bit jet lagged. I guess I might have got 1 hour, maybe 2. I'm not sure on the plane itself. But I wanted to sort of record this podcast about this area that I'm in, and also about this trip to Thailand. This time around, I'm actually staying for around about a month. It won't be all holiday. I'm actually editing a project which I'll mention later on. This area of Krabang, it's easy to get lost. The taxi driver wasn't sure where he was going. We had GPS, but even so, it happened to me last time a year and a half ago when I tried to get here, or was coming back from a night out and trying to get here, or daytime, whatever. So there's lots. Bangkok is so massive. Even when you think you know the right area, if you don't put that extra word on a street, you can be in a slightly different area or completely different area. The streets are numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4, not necessarily in that order, but even when you think you're in the right 4, it's soy 4, it's another soy 4 of another something soy 4, soy meaning road. I think Thanon means a street. So slightly different, same as what we would have in UK or other parts of the world. It's road and street are kind of different titles given to different stretches of traffic way, I suppose. So yeah, I wanted to record this. I thought, why not do this when I've actually arrived, while it's kind of fresh in my memory, fresh in my mind. It's probably, I'm a bit jaded, as I say, from the flight, but that's probably a good thing. Kind of it helps me to ponder a bit, and some of these podcasts that I've done live on location, if you like, or on location, have been a bit pondery, a bit wondery, a bit sort of, stammery, stuttery. So I apologise if there's a bit of a gaps between me speaking, but I'm just trying to sort of cover everything and also ponder. So yeah, I will be, I have a fresh head tomorrow. Wake up when I go to sleep and wake up tomorrow, it will be obviously a new day. I could have met a friend tonight, but I really didn't want to get a bike or a lift to the metro. So the same rail network I was talking about earlier, and then go into town. It would have been okay, but I'm, when you're shattered, you're shattered. So lots of, it's going to be an interesting month, mostly in Bangkok. I might venture other places. It depends how I progress on this other project. And this project I will now speak about. It's something I've been commissioned basically to produce a video art for an installation that's happening somewhere in London. I want to reveal more nearer the time, but this is something that it's something that I've had to pick a subject for. In fact, it fitted quite nicely with another subject I was planning, and even my bigger Korean documentary. So this time, as I'm working to a deadline, this time in Bangkok or Thailand will be spent probably half the time at least, will be spent editing to a finished piece of work. I will mention more about this particular thing, but it's kind of an honour to be asked to be one of the contributing artists. I believe there's 14 artists, some Korean, most Korean artists, and there's a few from non-Koreans and English or British people. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing in the time when I'm not meeting friends and basically enjoying life on the other side of the world, almost. It's not Australia, but this trip, it's lots of reminiscing for me, resonation. I'll skip that word. I've been coming to Thailand for quite a few years before I started going to Korea, and I'll always have a special place. It will always have a special place in my heart for its culture. Yeah, of course, like. It's not the perfect place, and it's probably in some ways it's too westernized, or it's too touristy, or it's too too cluttered. The Thai culture isn't like it used to be. And even when I came here the first time, it was already you could say spoiled, but it wasn't. It wasn't how it would have been 20 or 30 years before. That's the same with anywhere. And as flights have got cheaper to these countries, people have been able to travel. It does amuse me when people do come here, or countries like this, and they go, oh, it's Thailand, it's too, they come here and they explore it, and then they say, oh, it's just, too touristy and too stuff like that. But they are just one in a number of, there's yet another bus going past on this road, or street, whatever. But yeah, they are just another person in a long line of people that have been coming here. So just because they're not the first, and they probably weren't even born when the first people started to come here as a tourist destination, they've still literally done exactly the same. Come here exploring and retrod paths that others would have trodden. So it's not like they're sitting at home, because they're not sitting at home criticising and saying, I'm never going to go there because I've heard it's too touristy. There are people that do that. There are people that say that, and I'm sure some of my friends have been falling into either of these two groups. But it's it's just one of those things. I mean, when I went to Cambodia last year, there's a podcast coming on that, or even one on its way. I should probably say. That I felt more of a heart for that country, because they've not been as lucky, or managed to be as lucky as Thailand has in much of its history. They've had a horrible history, Cambodia, really truly horrible. So you look at a place in a different light, and that place will change in years, but it's going to have sort of evil corporations as well, probably playing their part, other countries surrounding those playing their part, coming in, bullying those countries. Bullying Cambodia. Perhaps it'll be China, perhaps it'll be Vietnam. It's already started. It happens in Jeju, in Korea. It seems to be happening to all these lovely places. Thailand holds a special place. I recorded 6 months ago, roughly. I recorded an episode from Hua Hin in Thailand, because I hadn't been there before, and also I thought it was well overdue that I did a podcast about this country, or at least touching on it. I think I would leave this podcast here, because I really could go on. I think I'm just rambling a bit too much. I knew this wouldn't be a perfect one, but I just wanted to kind of do a kind of flash podcast, if you like, because lot goes through your mind when you revisit a place, even if it was only 6 months ago you were in that city. But each time it's different reasons. This time it was going to be an excuse to get away, a kind of vacation, but just I'm trying to spend more time, much more of my life, in other cities, in Asia and other parts of the world, even if it's not sightseeing. I mean, you can only sightsee so much in some places, but even if it's actually meeting up with your friends, going to film festivals, going to cultural things, it's still in a different country, and that's how my mind and my life currently works. I can't wait for just 1 or 2 weeks away each year. It's more like a month or 2 months in one go. 2 months in one go, or the last trip was around about 11 weeks when I did the South Korea, Cambodia and Thailand. So I'm fortunate enough to have this opportunity to do this travelling, and also fortunate enough to travel as well as do some of my work on the road, if you like. I really want to tell you more about this Korean related project, but it's the more since being commissioned to actually make something, this piece of art, this video art, it's done a good job, because it kind of made me rethink about my long form Korean documentary about Korea culture and all its ups and downs, highs and lows. And it may be that this piece of art is actually the concept for the whole longer full length feature. And as I've mentioned before, I'm not sure if I've mentioned on a podcast, but I don't know whether it'll be a feature that goes in festivals or whether it'll be a feature that just goes online. Hopefully it's a feature that gets finished. That's the main thing. I've been talking to people. People ask me, since 2012, people have been asking me, is it finished yet? And I do have to admit there is a significant amount of guilt, significant chunk of guilt, when I have to say it's still in the process. I mean, other projects have been coming up and getting done as well. And I really also want to do a podcast about such projects, even if it's one every month, and just highlight it, not just so you can go to YouTube and check it out, although there's a thought for you. But yeah, so I'm gonna try and do another podcast, or definitely at least one or two while I'm in Thailand for this a little under a month. And it won't just necessarily be about Thailand. There's a podcast coming, which is about a Korean band that's coming to the UK very soon. This month, in fact, I won't be there, unfortunately. But I want to give more. I'm quite excited, even though they're coming. I'm quite excited for a particular couple of reasons. But yeah, there's a Korean band that coming over as are others. But their songs are. I've known them for a few years. Their songs are mostly sung in English as well, and they're very sort of different and experimental in some ways, but still poppy at the same time. So that podcast will be coming. I might as well say who the band is. It's Love X Stereo. That's Love, the letter X, and then Stereo. I'm sure if you're into Korean indie, you probably know of them. They also have a studio, Love X Studio, based in Seoul as well. And many other bands have used or do use. So yeah, so I'm drifting off a bit here. I've talked about this Korean art project. I've talked about Thailand, Bangkok, landing here, not venturing out this evening, but also this upcoming podcast concerning the Korean indie band Love X Stereo. I'm sure they don't like to be classed as Korean indie band. I mean, it's not something you always want to be. You want your music to speak for itself, not just because it's Korean, but they are pretty brilliant in my humble opinion. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to leave it there, and this is me signing off from Krabang area of Bangkok, and I will see you later. Ta-ra.